18th of August 2025. Hope you all have a wonderful day and start of a new week on the markets, doing whatever you're doing. Hope you're having a great day trading if that's what you're doing. And what exactly is happening with Bitcoin and alts? Well, since Thursday's all time high on Bitcoin, the price dropped precipitously, relatively, but certainly not bigger than drops we've seen in the past. So it certainly is possible that it will continue to drop a little bit. But is Bitcoin going to zero? Are all the alts going to zero because we've seen this little drop? Probably not. Why do I say that? Well, look at the VEPs. Look at the volatility, entropy, probabilities, and statistics. We did have very nice drops on Thursday. More drops on Friday after a little bit of a recovery in the early part of Friday, and then a little recovery again in later on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And sure enough, a nice drop from later on Sunday as the CMEs were about to open a couple hours before, or some hours before CMEs open. And so for all the people hoping to trade the gap or whatever, well, there you go. I hope you traded it well and took your profits. It is not impossible that we'll see continuation of the price action following returns to the downside if they do. But on the very low time frames, at least the last I looked, maybe 15 minutes ago or so, there were some minor recoveries beginning to percolate on Bitcoin and Litecoin, and Solana, and meme coins, various, I think also XRP and Cardano. So it should not be a surprise to anyone, frankly, trading this market that we can have 20% pullbacks how many times. Like I said on this channel, expect even during what people call a bull market, expect to see 20 to 40% pullbacks. It happens like clockwork, in the crypto market. It's just par for the course, really. Like it's nothing new. So if you're new to this market, maybe you're shocked by it. Oh my gosh, price pulled back 20% on my favorite coin in a weekend, or 10% on Bitcoin in a weekend. How can that be? This is crypto. It's a volatile market, which is why we always tell people at Alpha Trading, be careful with your trading, right? Take your profits early and often. Limit your loss. Meaning if you're in a trade that's going the wrong way against you, get out as quickly as possible, right? It's better to rip off a Band-Aid than to have to rip off a full cast. And of course, don't be emotionally attached to your trades, because if you are emotionally attached to your trades, well, it's going to eat you alive. So, look, if you can stomach the loss and you don't care, and you're a YOLO kind of gambler, true degen at heart, and you're just like, oh, whatever, put some money on that, and win or lose, I'm riding until I die, or succeed. Well, that's up to you. It's not how I would recommend trading, though. Sup? Hello there. Hey, homie, sup? Just talking about the Bitcoin and crypto markets. So shouldn't be a surprise to anyone what we saw happen over the past few days with the price action generally going down. Obviously, there were some moves to the upside on the lower time frames, and if you managed to scalp longs as well as shorts over the past several days, well, good for you. Of course, you'd have to be, pretty quick on the longs to make sure you don't miss out on those profits, and hopefully you've also taken your profits on shorts if you've been holding short positions. I say that because if you look, for example, on a lot of daily charts, intraday charts, you can see where Bitcoin has gone to and where a lot of other altcoins have gone to, and meme coins, etc. A lot of them hit very specific target levels on the VRE. The first level, the first buy level on the VRE, the daily. Some of them hit the third buy level on the daily. Some of them went even lower than that. So those are very specific and powerful targets for the price action, and they're also very strong areas for algorithms to want to buy assets because they're considerably far away from the daily mean and from the central daily range, etc. A whole bunch of assets have not even tested their central daily range today. A lot of assets have a fairly tight central daily range, meaning it's probably a trending day. And certainly we've seen trending moves to the downside. And yes, there could be more trending moves to the downside today, especially in the run up to traditional market open in the US. But that is not to say that it is necessarily going to continue to the downside. The last I looked at the charts, like I said, about 15, 20 minutes ago, and prices were, showing slight signs of beginning to move a little bit back up towards the upside for a little while. But again, I'm not in front of my charts right now, so I can't tell you exactly what they're doing. But that's why I look at the low time frames when I'm trading, and of course, do the workflow from the high time frame down to the low time frame. If you look at the weekly information, Bitcoin and a lot of altcoins are looking a little bit to the downside, to be honest. But there are some indications that things could turn around a little bit, possibly. If they don't, they don't. Price is moot when you're trading, right? What matters is that you're in the right direction of the trade and that you take your profits. Right? It doesn't matter if Bitcoin is 124 grand or 100 grand or 80 grand or 20 bucks. Right? Price is moot. It'll matter to you or to your holding bag. Sure, if you're holding something, of course it will matter to that in the sense of your long-term holding. But does it matter to your intraday trading? No, absolutely not. And should you be paying attention to the news? Well, if you did, you got wrecked, because last week on Wednesday, I think it was, pretty sure it was, there was the big CPI report or whatever, and everybody got all pumped about that and juiced about it, saying, oh my God, we're going to go to the moon now. And what did Bitcoin do? Sure enough, it went up to an all-time high on in the early hours of the Thursday candle, early hours US time, and then just proceeded to dump precipitously. So it has not gotten back up there yet. So, and I think it was below 115K today, the last I saw it. It was 114 and change, maybe 115, back up to it. But basically, you should not be surprised to see the assets moving with great volatility, right? And you could say, well, it's August, it's supposed to be sleepy. Why are the assets moving around so much? And it doesn't matter what month it is. Yes, people are on vacation. Yes, a lot of retail traders are on vacation. Still, you got, if retail traders represent 20% of the market, they're not all on vacation, right? If even half of them are on the market, you still have half of them not on. I mean, half of them are on vacation, half of them are still in the markets, and more importantly, the HFT bots, right? And the bots, the same big size bots that are used by the quant trading shops, they're not taking vacations. The employees do, sure, but they have crews that work the days when other employees are on vacation. So there's always somebody manning those bots 24/7, with literally people around the world in their thousands manning those things, from support to maintenance to development, managers, buyers, sellers, you name it. There's people looking at those things constantly, even on holidays, even on weekends, even on whatever. 24/7, there's eyes on those markets and those bots. Why? Because they're managing huge amounts of money. And so it matters to those firms to keep people managing the bots 24/7. The markets are continually running, especially in crypto. They're literally 24/7, right? And you can even say, look, even regular, traditional markets have after hours tradings, and they do, right? They have adjusted hours tradings, right? So you can trade all kinds of equities and stuff in after hours tradings on different exchanges and whatnot, right? So it's not like there's a reason for them to stop running the bots ever, and they don't, right? They run those things continually, and that's why if you're trading the low time frames, you have the higher probability of having more occurrences of opportunity to exploit the inefficiencies of the market, regardless of what time it is, right? Because there can always be, and there always is, price action following the returns, which is created by the volatility. So, keep that in mind, and keep your risk management in mind, and whatever you do, wherever you go, there you are. And always remember, take your profits early and often, limit your loss, and don't be emotionally attached to your trades. Okay, that's it for now, folks. Happy trading. Oh, by the way, if you want to join the Alpha Trading live stream today, it starts at 9 o'clock a.m. as usual, 9 o'clock a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Just go to alphatradinghq.com/Discord, and you can join in the Discord, or you can watch it on the the video platform. But and the link is in the Twitter page. But join the Alpha Trading Discord. It's free. It's fun. You'll learn a thing. You might even enjoy trading volatility, entropy, probabilities, and statistics the same way that the people that run the market do. All right, folks. Take care. Happy trading. Bye.